All right, we'll go ahead and call to order the October 12th, 2016 meeting of the Ascension Parish Zoning Commission. All members are present, with the exception of Mr. Dumas, who was stuck traveling. Item number 3 on the agenda is a acceptance of the minutes of the September 14th, 2016 meeting. Do I have a motion on that? Motion by Mr. Christie, second by Mr. Bishop. Did you second that? Yes. All in favor? Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes. Item number 4 is chairman's comments. The chair has no comments regarding zoning tonight. Item number 5 is a public hearing to amend the Ascension Parish Development Code for recommendation for approval or denial to the Ascension Parish Council. 5A, zoning review ID PZ 0192-16, lots A1 or A3A1, A3B1, A3C, and A2 for Lakes at Ascension LLC. It's located on the south side of Lakeshore Avenue, approximately 200 feet east of Eads Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use.
Good afternoon. My name's Bill Wood Smith, and my address is 11745 Brixham Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I've got a short little presentation that I'm going to put up on the screen so you guys can really see what's going on here. Basically, what I have here is I did 2 subdivisions over here, and I started in 1999, and I did what's called Lakes of Ascension and Lakes of Ascension Crossing. And these subdivisions are located right off of 73 and 621. The first subdivision, you go down Eads Road and you get to the development, and the little red square in the block there is the property that I'm proposing to rezone. I've had this land since 1999. Both of my developments are first class. As you can see, basically the property on across the north property travels along 621 almost to Landry Road, and you can see a line there, and that was the second development. So basically, I've spent a lot of time and effort in making these top-notch developments. The property that I'm trying to rezone right there is basically right next door to the interstate. And it's right next door to a sewer treatment plant. And it's right next door, it backs up to a pond. And I am going to show y'all a couple of pictures so y'all get a good feel for where we are. Basically, I've been meeting with the homeowners since March. I was here in April. I deferred because me and the homeowners were trying to agree to agree. I came back in May. I deferred again. And then in June or late May, the president of the Homeowners Association and I went and met with Lance. And the Homeowners Association president was talking with the local council person about doing some amendment to the zoning, so on and so forth. Well, after a great deal of time passed, several months, I guess everything that they were supposed to do fell on deaf ears. And so I've been in constant communication with the homeowners in order for us to all agree to agree. Now, I posted the zoning map up there, and the property zoned in red is commercial. And this site, like I said, fronts on the interstate on one side. There's a pond on one side, and treatment plant on one side, and the road. There are a total of 4 property owners on Eads Road. The first property owner is a veterinarian clinic, and if you look at this map, you can kind of see the second property owner is it's Austin Fire Systems, and that property was there when I purchased all this land in 1999. The third property is a commercial office building, and industrial type warehouse facility. And the fourth property owner and the last one on Eads Road is myself. And then where Eads Road deaded in, I built a nice residential subdivision there. Did the same thing across the lake. Over the years, I've tried to sell the lots for residential use. The biggest problem today is it's zoned RM. The only realistic thing I can do is put, I have a few pictures, but this is what the homeowners don't want, is I can put 4 mobile homes, and I don't need any rezoning. And the homeowners are concerned about property values as well as I am, because I'm the most, I guess, affected by decline in property values because I have all the land next door and across the street. So I basically have this, and I'm better with pictures than TV sets. So this is the property on Eads Road, and that's a site plan of my 4 mobile homes, which we have. You can put that up on the screen. That's just the site plan.
Are you saying that's what you could do without any rezoning?
Yes, I don't need any rezoning for this. And I've been sitting there holding this since 1999. I had this little drawing done. This is what the mobile homes would look like. These are nice double wides. Now, granted, I have nothing against mobile homes. 50% of America lives in mobile homes. But the residents in the area do not really want mobile homes. For example, there was a homeowner in there building their dream home just recently, and I was staking the lots out and doing this, that, and the other. And they said, oh, we heard the developer was building mobile homes or putting mobile homes there. And they called my son and asked him to confirm that with me because he was going to sell his dream home before he moved in. So I said, no, son, tell him I'm not doing mobile homes. I'm trying to get something that makes sense. So I meet with the homeowners on a number of occasions, like I told you, and I came up with a proposal for tiny houses. This is a thing of the future. Thought this would be most compatible with the area. And there's my site plan. For tiny homes. And so I figured, well, if I put 12 one-bedroom tiny homes on these 4 lots, that would have no impact on the concerns of the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Wouldn't create additional traffic because if we have 4 or 5 bedroom double wides, that creates 20 bedrooms. This would just be a total of 12. So I thought, well, this should work good. It's a thing of the future. It would be privately owned by me and rented to professionals and get high-end rent. Just like everything in the area is pretty much high-end rent, and there isn't really anything to rent. So after meeting with the homeowners, they said, well, we don't really like your tiny homes. We would prefer you to do something else. I said, well, all I can do is mobile homes. They said, oh, Lord, we don't want mobile homes either. I said, well, what would y'all like? I said, if something work for me or work for you, I'm willing to work with you. So they proposed, and Doug Strassner's here in the audience, and he can confirm this, that they would be happy with a storage facility, many warehouses, or office building. So, due to the zoning, I cannot do anything but mobile homes. So, in an effort to bring you guys up to date on the particular proximity, the adequate roads in the area, the commercial use, because I know y'all like them concentrated or, quote, clustered together, according to y'all's definitions, I have a few pictures that I want to show you, taking you in from Eads Road at 621. This is the intersection of 621 and Eads Road. Eads Road is it's 1,900 feet to my property. And then there's an 80-foot lot or 90-foot lot. So Eads Road's about 2,000 feet long. Okay? The first business is the Dutchtown Animal Clinic. That property's zoned commercial. The second business is Austin Fire Systems. This property was Byram Valve and Fitting when I purchased the land, which did sandblasting and sold valves, which was heavy industrial. The third property is a commercial building with warehouses in the back and outbuildings. And here's an aerial view to see the size of this massive commercial property. Like I say, there's four owners of property on the land, and 3 of them are commercial. This is a picture coming from the other direction that shows the office building. This is a picture of our interstate system, which this property basically fronts on it. Go to the next one. This is the subject property. This property is approximately 45 feet from the off-ramp of the interstate. So I could throw a baseball and hit someone driving by on accident. It backs up to a lake. You have the interstate, you have the road. The adjoining property owner, who lives in lot number 1, has the vacant lot next to my lots. He's all on board with this. I've been trying to figure out something that'll work for everybody since 1999. So I have a little video that's less than a minute that I want to show you in order to, this was what my community would look like if my neighbors would like my tiny homes, but I'm willing to work with them. And I think we have enough trust among ourselves that I pretty much do what I say. And I realize zoning it to mixed use, my options, the sky is the limit. But in June, like I said, the Homeowners Association president was talking to the local council person. They claimed that they were going to, and you can confirm this with Lance as well, that they were going to put some kind of amendment before the council in order to get some kind of use that would be a little less restrictive than mixed use, where you have all types of uses. Okay? So let me show you my little video of this property. It won't take long. This property owner, the home site you saw, is on board with the deal. As you can see, I'm right on an interstate off-ramp. If I cut the trees down, it would look like Jerry Lane Chevrolet right there. You coming down Eads Road, you can see the cars exiting right there. We flew the drone down just to give you guys a shot of the adequate roads. There's only 80 home sites in the area. This is all my vacant land that we're still flying over. We're getting over the commercial building with the industrial warehouse in the back. There's an industrial road in between these two properties, and then here is the industrial building. Then you get to the veterinarian clinic. This road ties right to 621. That's your major thoroughfare. You either turn right or turn left, you're on 621. You either hit the interstate or you're on 73. Based on the own definition of the parish, they would like properties in this particular zoning to have adequate roadways to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Now, granted, I'm not going to say there's no traffic on 621 or 73, but this is as good as you get. You got 80 home sites at the end of this major industrial Eads Road, which is basically a frontage road that you've seen. And all the adjoining properties are zoned commercial or being used as commercial. Now, they'll have an argument that property 2 and 3 is zoned residential. Well, you just saw the movie, and it's not realistic to think someone's going to come buy that and build a subdivision. So I respectfully request that you approve the zoning to mixed use. And I think everybody understands that, yes, mixed use are options, but as I have conferred with the homeowners for years, that I pretty much do what I say, and I'm not going to put a honky-tonk there, which would be allowed. And mixed use 2 won't work. So this is the only zoning that'll work for many warehouses, which would be satisfactory with the homeowners.
Staff? And maybe you can answer a question. There are 3 businesses right along that road.
Right, yes, sir.
Are they
Correct.
grandfathered?
Yes, sir, they're non-conforming. They were there prior to zoning coming in. Staff recommendation is to deny the mixed use as requested. All properties surrounding are currently single-family residents. Staff also believes permitted uses that could be allowed in mixed use district would not be compatible with existing and surrounding properties. Staff also believes that this could be spot zoning.
What happens if somebody buys the veterinary hospital or Austin Fire? Do they have to build residential there?
No, sir. The code says that if it shuts down for more than 6 months or the commercial operation cease for 6 months, then it has to conform to its conforming use, which would be residential.
So because it's a non-conforming, because all 3 of those properties are non-conforming uses, you have an industrial, do you know what they would be classified in? If
They would be still classified as RM, just
residential medium?
Yes,
Even
sir.
Austin Fire?
even Austin Fire. They would just be non-conforming uses. The veterinarian is conforming. It's in a mixed-use district.
So that's mixed use?
Yes, sir.
And it looked like some of the mixed use kind of goes down a little bit of Eads Road there.
No, maybe, I'm not sure. We caught lots, I don't know, but I know that on the corner itself and where the veterinarian place, the business is, it's mixed use.
We'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this. Has anybody signed up to speak on this?
Yes, sir. Douglas
Mr. Straisner?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Doug Straisner. I'm the attorney of record for Lakes at Ascension. I also live out there at 37336 Lakeshore, so I'm real familiar with this. Mr. Smith correctly stated essentially what we've been discussing for a long time. What we had proposed and had negotiated was to come up with some variation to MU2, which would allow him to put the specific climate control storage units out there, which I think our subdivision association would not have a problem with. Since we're not real sure where we got shot down or where we're at with this, we're at kind of a loss, so that puts us back to, I have to advise the council and the commission that we had a specific special meeting under our charter of the Residents Association. They took a vote, and they basically said, oppose the rezoning as it's requested today. So, you know, we're back to square one, and that's the extent of what I'm authorized to say.
So you're opposed to the rezoning, but you don't mind the storage, the mini storage being?
That's correct. We had a long discussion with Mr. Smith. What the association is concerned with and what all the residents who spoke at our special meeting were specifically upset about, we know we don't want trailers. We know that he can put 4 with no rezoning required at all, according to the way that it's already zoned. The objection was to go to essentially, instead of having 4 double wides, you end up with 12. There was a big discussion about the traffic situation coming out our street. Eads Road, where it terminates into 621, is almost impossible to get out of during the morning rush hour. Right now, when I come out of that subdivision, if I try to go to Baton Rouge, normally what I do is I will take a right, go down and catch Airline Highway. That's the only way I can get out, because you've got incoming traffic that makes it almost impossible to make a left turn unless you have somebody there. That was, I think, a lot of the basis. You know, we're heavily loaded. It's a one-way in, one-way out situation. Access is miserable. Now with the school situation, 2 or 3 times a day. Noon, it's impossible to get out of. Of course, as has been pointed out with other meetings, that will resolve when the school's somewhat resolved. But getting out after 7 o'clock in the morning, between 7 and probably 8:30 is impossible. Trying to get out and make a left turn to come out to the interstate in the evening at 5 o'clock when incoming rush hour traffic, people coming home, it's almost impossible to get in and out of. I think that's essentially, in a nutshell, what the objection at the Residents Association meeting was.
For the trailers.
For the trailers, that's correct.
Anybody else? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on that. Commission members, questions, comments, and/or
The lots across, which I think on the big map is A5E, A5D, A5C, A5B, A5A, A4, are those currently vacant?
They are,
And
and those are only good for mobile homes. That's correct.
those are your lots as well?
Yes, sir.
And I guess, and Lance, maybe you can help here, if we grant the rezone of the ones he wants, then the ones directly across the street would no longer be considered spot zoning. If you sought a rezone of those, you can no longer recommend denial based on spot zoning, and he could then rezone those to the mixed use as well?
Across the street, I don't know if so much it'd be a spot zoning. My concern would be that the uses that would be allowed on that property would
Right.
not be compatible to that area.
But one of the objections is the spot zoning. Once
That's
you have
one, yes, sir.
the same zoning across the street, then the spot zoning issue
It could,
becomes
it could.
more of an issue. And I guess this goes to the problem we had earlier. You've got a good idea, somebody who wants to do something, and we don't seem to have a place in the code that allows us to do it, because we can't restrict him and say, well, grant it, but only if you do it as the storage, because what happens if somebody walks in and offers you $20 million for that piece of property and to turn around and put a honky-tonk on it? Not that that would happen, but I guess that's the concern. And we seem to be having a lot of. I'm just wondering if maybe there's not, and I don't know what the proper procedure would be to look at maybe trying to create a new zoning classification to maybe resolve some of these issues. Because we seem to be having the same problem. Great ideas, but the issue is if we grant the rezone, we can't restrict them to just what they want to do with the property. And I'm not sure how we get around that.
Excuse me on that. That was the whole point of the homeowners association meeting with the council person, to put something on the agenda. As Lance well knows, and we met with Lance, with the homeowners association president, but I can't make the council person do anything, okay? And I waited and waited and waited, and this has fallen on deaf ears. And the people do not want what is allowed.
And therein lies the rub.
And if you look at the map, nobody's gonna buy either of those 2 commercial facilities and build a neighborhood. To call all the stuff off would cost them $1 million.
But if if either of those businesses shut down for 6 months, they can't reopen as anything but a neighborhood, right?
That's correct.
I mean, that's the same issue that happened with one of the adult entertainment establishments on Airline, right?
Yes,
Shut
correct.
down for 6
Yes.
months, and then it had to go back to
Yes.
conforming use.
Yeah, we've had a few of those, yes, sir.
And also, a PUD or a SPUD, whatever the guy was before me, he had 2 acres or more. Mine's a little under 2 acres. It wouldn't fall into that category,
So that's why that wouldn't work.
okay?
Correct.
Also, this is an industrial road. They say, and I understand, we have 80 lots in the neighborhood. I know there's traffic on it, but it does not have anything to do with the health, safety, and welfare of this location way down the road, 1,900 feet from the intersection of Eads Road on a major road.
I was just gonna add my comment, which is that it seems the screws are being put to you because there's clearly commercial use being used right adjacent to it.
That's
On the
why I
street,
need
yeah.
y'all to recommend approval.
Well, I mean, and my concern is that he's sitting here saying that he has the right in the current zoning to go do what the association doesn't want done, yet he can't do what they do want him to do because it's technically considered spot zoning. So, I mean, there's no way to reconcile that in any way.
Do you own A1?
I'm not sure where A1 is.
It's the adjacent piece, but it looks like the
No.
adjacent parcel between where you're trying to end.
Oh, no, A1 is the neighbor who is on board with this deal, okay? He also owns the first home site, okay? So he has the first home site on the right, and then after he bought that, like I said, I've had these lots for sale for years, since 1999. He bought that lot just because, and he's not here tonight, and he's not objecting.
No, the only
So-
reason
so
I was
if you're-
asking,
oh.
I was gonna say, the only reason I was asking, because if you owned it and that would have pushed you over the 2 acres, maybe we could have gone with the spud and limited
That's correct, I
that,
do
that,
not.
that, I was trying to help you figure out a
Yes, sir.
workaround here, is what I was,
But basically, you could sell your lots today and they could put a four trailer park right there.
No, they would be, and no one says they have to put mobile homes there. So
No, but they
mobile
could.
homes
They
are
could.
permitted.
Yeah,
I
we
mean, they
didn't
can
have
build
the same
houses, they can
impact
do
is what he's
whatever,
saying.
but yes, he has 4 lots, it's single-family dwelling, and we consider a mobile home single-family.
So
And
could he put the tiny houses there?
You could put 1 tiny house per lot.
One house per.
or you could put one regular house per lot.
Yes, correct.
That's correct. And like I said, I built those 2 very desirable developments, and the homeowners just don't seem to want to buy next to the treatment plant, next to the interstate. They're not very good residential lots. Today, I can put 4 mobile homes in. The neighbors will be mad. I won't be real happy. I can't sit on this land forever. Like I said, I purchased it in 1999.
Now, it's been a while since I've been back that far, but it looks like these are all before the entrance, because there is kind of a
That's
marked
correct.
entrance to the
They are,
subdivision back
they
there.
are definitely before the entrance. There's, yes, sir, that's correct. The entrance was built at the dead-end road, where Eads Road deaded in. That's where I started the entrance.
I mean, I know I don't get a vote, but I wouldn't get a vote tonight with only 5 or 6 of us here, but I mean, this is one of those situations where I think a practical solution is better than the alternative. So, I mean, like you said, he could put a trailer park there. Nobody would like it, but he can monetize his property that way, or he could go ahead, we could recommend approval, and he can use it for something that everybody likes and everybody wins with.
Look,
Granted, there's some stuff down the road, but
I need y'all to recommend the approval in order to get, because we're way over, we're not over the line yet. We gotta go to council for zoning,
right.
okay?
Well, all we are is a recommendation, one way
Right.
or the other. The council can do whatever they want. I mean,
That's correct.
they often do, so.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out a way, if there's a way to make this work where he can do what he wants to do and what the residents are happy with, without potentially open this up to somebody buying this land in the future and saying, okay, there's 4 mini storages, I'm gonna turn it into 4 bars, and there's nothing we can do about it because it would be permissible within the current, that rezoned classification. I'm just trying to figure out a way
The
to make
way
this
we
work.
figured out how to skin the cat was, and you can confirm this with Mr. Strassner. Jason Price, the president of the association, he even went and met with their attorney, who, they have another attorney who's an association specialist, to where we could deed restrict the land, okay? And then all that took time and effort, because as an association, they would need to get back with the residents, get a vote, see if they would agree to agree, and then we would have a contractual agreement that is enforceable. And I was in agreement with that, and they met as well. But in an effort to relieve us from doing that, the local council person told Mr. Price, the association president, that she wanted to work with them in order to make it good for everybody. And like I said, that has fallen on deaf ears. But yes, that's one way to do it. But I can't just keep waiting the rest of my life.
How long would that process take?
Well, we've been working on it since March, and nothing has occurred, based on the council person telling them that they were going to do some kind of amendment. And we met with Lance and said, hey, what can we do? And Lance said, well, you got to get the council person to propose something.
Do you know, was that something that was going to be done in the flood? Cause it to be pushed
No,
off,
this
or
was
it's just
way
a drag
before
of
the
heel?
flood. This was June.
Mrs. Straser,
And Lang-
did you talk with Ms. Casso, and what came from that conversation?
I had a very brief conversation with Mr. Price, because we had been wondering what was happening, and we saw Bill Wood come up with his sign again, so we started checking. It's our understanding that it was being talked around the council, but that's the extent of my knowledge of it. What happened, or what the scenario, why we've fallen off in the ditch with it, is kind of as much of a mystery to us as it is to Bill Wood. You know, we were frankly kind of amazed that it just went the way that it did. Because I told Bill Wood, and I told the people at our meeting, Bill Wood has a right to use his property, you know, and we're trying to negotiate something acceptable to everybody, but unfortunately, I guess we've gotten hooked up into the political aspect of it, and we're kind of off in the ditch, and neither one of us really knows what's going on with it.
Yeah,
I called Jason, the president. I called the president of the association a month or so ago, and I said, Jason, what's going on? He said, I don't know. I said, well, I have to put it back on the agenda. He said, I don't blame you, okay? And he said, basically, that's where I can't really speak for him. He's out of town on another matter today, so.
I mean, I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think any issue to rezone, whether it's MU1 or MU2, whatever it is, comes to us first, doesn't it?
Correct. Yeah, the option was to change the code or change the tables to allow mini storage in MU2. That was the option that was discussed. The problem with that is like anything else, it's just like the one that came up earlier with kennel. It doesn't say, you know, as long as the mini storage is climate controlled, enclosed, outside storage. I mean, all these other things. So do you really want a mini warehouse in a mixed-use 2 district? If you're going to allow boat storage, you're going to allow all this unenclosed storage in there, do you want that? And that's not the intent of MU2.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a stronger act to try and change the code in terms of zoning classifications than rezone particular property.
I can't say that we've allowed or we've changed the code for one instance, for car washes. Now we have enclosed car washes we allow in MU2. I mean, there's minor repairs. I mean, we allow those things in MU2 that wasn't allowed with those exceptions. Could that be done with this, not allow, you know, outside storage and those type of things? Possibly. And change the code to allow mini warehouses and have those exclusions in there.
I really think to try and put this in a nutshell and see if we can't get to some point on this. I mean, our choice is to grant the rezoning and hope that all that's built there is mini storage, which I'm not doubting what you're telling me. But if we change it, and for some reason that falls through or somebody buys it down the road, then there could be whatever there. Or to leave it as is, or recommend to deny the rezoning and let the land be used as it's currently zoned to do. I mean, that's kind of the rock and the hard place that we're in between. And knowing that you won't get many storage, but the homeowners association might find a trailer park next to their subdivision. But what you said is the HOA is officially against the rezone.
Officially, right now, since we're back to square one, based on the meeting, all I'm authorized to say is the official position of the HOA meeting is to oppose the rezoning. That's where we're at.
All right, any other comments, or do we have a motion on this?
I'm going to move to recommend approval.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval of the rezone from medium intensity residential RM to mixed use 2. Do we have a second on that motion?
The mixed use.
Mixed use. Oh, I'm sorry, mixed use. I'm sorry. Medium intensity residential to mixed use. I was looking at the wrong item on the agenda. Do we have a second on that motion? Not hearing a second, the motion dies. Do we have a remotion?
We just need an alternative motion.
All right. We have a motion to deny, or to recommend denial of the rezoning from medium intensity residential to mixed use. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second on that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition?
Nay.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Do we need to state reasons on this, since it's a recommendation? Do we need to do a roll call vote?
Do we do need a
All
roll
right,
call?
Mr. Dudley, yea or nay?
This is to deny.
This is on the motion to deny, so a yea vote is to deny or to recommend denial. Mr. Dudley?
Yay.
Mr. Bishop?
Yay.
Mr. Christie? Mr. Chasson?
Yay.
Mr. Foster?
Nay.
The motion to deny or the motion to recommend denial passes 4-1.
Y'all try to work out the deed restriction? Is that gonna be
No, we're dead. It's over. So why I just have a question for the council here. Why do they not have to say why they deny or approve, and they do for the subdivisions?
Because on the subdivisions, they are the final authority. For this one, it's just a recommendation to the council, and the council's gonna be the one who makes the ultimate decision.
Okay.
That's appealable.
You can, you can bring, whatever we would have done tonight will come before the council, and they can choose to approve the rezone or deny the rezone.
So it's not dead. They could approve it.
It's not dead, that's correct, yes.
the council can still approve it?
The whole council, and they'll get it, will they get it on their next agenda, Cody? Is that-
It just
Is
depends on
that
how
a
the calendar falls.
procedure, or it's automatically on there?
It's automatic.
It's automatically gonna go.
Do we get to speak like we do
Yes.
today?
You
Yes.
get to present it.
Even if we'd have approved it, they still
You-
could
you
have.
Right,
still have to go to
I
the-
they still
understand,
could've
that's why I
denied it.
really needed y'all's approval tonight, based on what y'all saw. You can really tell it's not residential land.
Last time we had to deny one for the same reasons, the council went ahead and approved it, so you're not dead in the water.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, item number 5B, zoning review, ID 1095.16, Lot 1 for Crawfish Properties LLC, located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 73, approximately 1,100 feet south of White Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use 2. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Y'all ready to go home? David Patterson with Land Source, 6730 Exchequer in Baton Rouge, and I'm here representing the owner, Crawfish Properties. This property is, I'm happy to say, doesn't have any drainage issues and doesn't have any traffic issues, but we're asking to rezone I think what you're looking at, it should be identified as Lot 1. I'd like to point out that the 1.706 acre tract to the south, or to the left as you're looking at it on the sheet, is already zoned mixed use. And we're just wanting to match that zoning for with Lot 1. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Staff?
Yeah, the recommendation is to accept the mixed-use 2 district as requested, based on adjacent property being mixed-use 2, and mixed-use 2 being a transition zoning district for commercial and residential.
All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this. I'm assuming no one has signed up to speak, since there's no one left except the press in the gallery. All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, any comments, questions, or a motion?
I'd like to make a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
I don't know how the existing lot got, and I'm talking about the one that abuts Longwood Drive going into that subdivision, got rezoned. That was before my time. But it's obvious this is nothing but residential property here. It is not in the best interest of the residents on Highway 73 or any of the residents of any of the subdivisions on 73 to have this go to mixed use. We had a similar case earlier, a couple months ago, on 73, between there and Post Office Road, and we denied that. I would like to see this area remain residential from as close to Post Office Road as we are down there, all the way up to the fire department, volunteer fire department. This is definitely residential area, and this explanation of, well, since we got this one, we'll add that one, and when we get that one in, we'll just add another one, and another one till the whole highway is mixed use. So therefore, for that reason, I definitely am opposed to having this rezoned mixed use.
Are there any commercial establishments surrounding? I'm trying to remember.
There's the church, and I know just south of the church, I know there's a non-conforming, but there's a hair salon that's there. And then
That's
as you go,
that's a
Yeah,
pre-existing
non-conforming, yes, sir.
non-conforming
Yeah.
use.
and then as you go up, basically once you get to Post Office Road, and then as he stated earlier, as you come south to the fire department.
The residents, trying to look at this on a map, are there, between where this lot is and going north towards the church, are there residences that face or that are off of Highway 73?
Yes, sir, there's residents there.
That are on 73 as opposed to on a subdivision off of 73?
From there, from the church you talking about, north?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe there's some. On that side, possibly, maybe not on the road itself. There may be one that's, I know I'm not sure, you gotta cross a bridge to get to a home that's there. But then between there and White Road, I don't think there's anything that you can actually access off of 73 onto their property.
And then what about going south? There's, the fire station is not too far south of that.
Correct, yes, sir, that's the part that you see that's mixed use, on the corner of Miller Road and 73 on the south side of the aerial that's in that dark red, and they're asking, it's for mixed use too.
Any other comments, or do we have a motion on this?
It looks like there's two houses at least between Renaissance and the church on the same side as the church that access 73 directly before you get to the one that's used as the hair salon on the Google map I'm looking at. And then there's one that accesses it off of Renaissance. But unless I'm misinterpreting that, it looks like the driveways go straight into the,
Yeah,
see what I'm saying right there about
yeah,
before
it's
you
on
get
that,
to.
it's on that map too. It's on the map that we got.
I would like to suggest that, I think oftentimes what happens is 73's been widened, and it's become a very major thoroughfare, very busy. And then what you have is you have difficulty selling residences that are right up on 73. And so I think for this to go to mixed use makes plenty of sense. And there's plenty of commercial development up on 73 between this location and the interstate.
Do we have a motion on this? I mean, we can, unless
Yeah.
anybody has more comments on it.
I'll make a motion to recommend denial.
All right, we have a motion to recommend denial to the parish council's second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Are you opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Dudley? A yay vote is to recommend denial. Mr. Dudley?
Yea to recommend denial.
Mr. Bishop?
Nay.
Mr. Christie? Mr. Chasson?
Yay.
Mr. Foster?
Yay.
All right, the official recommendation of the council, of the zoning commission is to deny the rezoning request by a vote of 4 to 1.
Thank you for your time.
All right, staff report?
No staff report.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
We are adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.